Hey, friends, and welcome into the TexAgs Rewind presented by Specs in the Rollo Insurance Studio, celebrating a big victory in Baton Rouge for A&M on this Monday show. Let's go around and ask the people what they thought about it. So Ella Ryan at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, favorite part of the program was?
You weren't calling it the go hour. You were calling it
the low hour.
The low hour. That was my favorite.
We moved it to 10 a.m.
Yeah, I liked it. It was a 10 a.m. segment, but it kind of was messing up my day a little bit. I feel
it was different,
yeah.
Right? Yeah, we get used to routine here. Nick Savage, your favorite part of the program was?
Trey Wallace. He was like a clip machine on there today, so I'm gonna go with him.
Okay. Who else made the rewind?
We had OB at the end of the rewind. He's usually at the beginning, but he's at the end of the rewind. Trey Wallace, Marty Smith, and Billy Liucci, the leadoff hitter today.
Billy Liucci. Check it out.
Yeah, Ed OJ, man, and earned himself the job that night. I think that was also a Super picture night where LSU, or no, that was when LSU fans during the game it was breaking out that they were hiring Tom Herman at Kyle Field. So yeah, LSU, for a place that doesn't consider A&M their rival, if you're a coach at LSU, you better not be losing to your non-rival. That seems like. So look, Brian Kelly, what a tenure for him, man. Like you come out in year one and you win the SEC West. Something A&M has never done in 14 years. 13, because 14 they might, even though there's no West. But something A&M has never done is advance to Atlanta. And you come and do it in year one. But there were signs, right? There were signs. That little finger across the upper lip stunt he pulled when he got hired. That dance he did. The fake accent. It never felt right. Then he came in and won. But then even at the end of that year, right, sign of things to come, when you get drilled by A&M at home with Jaden Daniels as your quarterback on your way to play for the SEC title, and that was a game that almost, it could have kept them out of the playoff. I don't know that they would have gotten in, but they were in a great position. I think they were number 5 in the country when they came in here and lost 38-23. That's the game they couldn't tackle Baton A-Chain, and A&M Bill Line just mowed them all over the field. So, that was, even in his best year, LSU fans were left with a pretty bad taste in their mouth there at the end of the regular season. So it just never got on his right footing. People said from the get-go it felt like it didn't feel like a fit. It didn't feel like the right hire. And he never could really get past that. He really couldn't with that fan base and with the decision makers there. And he just couldn't win enough to ever get past that because he really peaked in year one. I say this about LSU all the time, don't I? Since the Aggies have joined the SEC, this is year 14, LSU will finish the season with at least 3 losses.
Yeah, the second half performance. I mean, I said here last week that that's one of the hardest places to play in the world, and it is. And in that second half, it was such a complete performance and dominant performance by Texas A&M in all 3 phases. Cassius Howell was hell bent for leather, unblockable, talking that smoke and backing it up. You're returning, kicks for touchdowns. You're moving the football down the field offensively. And, watching Marcel Reed use his legs to create throwing lanes Saturday night was impressive. I felt like that was a bit of an evolution for him. He was playing with incredible confidence. And in talking to McGee, who was down there with Marcel last week in College Station for a piece he did, seems like a confident young man. I've not met him yet. So very impressed with him, as you know. I just love his skill set. Obviously, fantastic history in the game, incredibly athletic family, and a great leader for that team. It looked like he was having so much fun in the second half, smiling with his guys, and they just seemed like they knew exactly what to do and how to execute at a very high level. man, they're a problem. And I feel like it's a broken record, but kudos to Coach Elko and the staff. They are just doing a fantastic job of there's an expectation at Texas A&M. When you have those resources, when every year you have a top recruiting class, when you're doing well, getting portal kids over, and then it always feels like something doesn't live up to that potential. And man, are they doing it this year in a league that is so hard, and there's so much parity in the league now, and nationally for that matter. There's so much parity. So,
well, it's interesting. I started the show off with Billy, and we were talking about like when A&M plays LSU, interesting things happen with coaches. Les Miles is not fired, and he's kept around in 2015. I had forgotten that Ed O basically became the head coach because of what happened in 2016, right? And then in 2021, they were, 4-8, and A&M should win, and Max Johnson destroys them, and he leaves, as a parade. And now Brian Kelly gets fired after A&M put a thumping on them. So just how's A&M in the middle of all these crossroads?
I mean, congratulations. I mean, they take over a stadium. The LSU students start a fire Brian Kelly chant during the game. It's picked all over national television. The post-game scene is Texas A&M students taking over the LSU student section. Everything just came together Saturday night in such a wild and monumental way for LSU's downfall. I mean, coming off the loss to Vanderbilt is one thing. Getting thrashed in the second half by Texas A&M, that's another. And that's when you had boosters starting making phone calls in that third quarter, being like, you know what? It's time. We got to do something. Let's meet. Staff changes aren't going to be enough, even though Brian Kelly probably thought they were heading into that meeting with Scott Woodward on Sunday morning. But looking back on it now, I don't know what kind of voodoo you guys have over what's going on in Baton Rouge, but you've certainly led to a number of different changes in the college football world over the last 10 years.
Trey, I think it's interesting seeing what A&M's been able to do this year. And I've asked this question throughout the year, and I'm going to pose it to you because each week it becomes even more real. A year ago at this time, they were 7-1. And, yeah, they had a chance to, even in the last game of the season, to make it to the SEC championship game. But it didn't look like this, right? There's something different about this team. With a third of the season left, right, to you, what stands out about this team different than maybe last year?
I think one of the things that interested me, and I was talking with people so I was going back and looking at halftime of what happened to the LSU game. And you saw what the score was. You saw what the A&M was kind of trailing right there, and you were waiting for them to hit that switch. And I think what Mike Elko is doing when it comes to adjustments, to me, that is standing out the most about this Texas A&M team. Because there were ways that LSU was scoring in the first half and kind of holding A&M down a little bit. And what do? They go in at halftime. They have a conversation. I'm sure Mike Elko gave a fantastic halftime speech, but that really didn't matter. It was about how they were reassessing what they were doing in the first half. And to me, that is going to go a very, very long way when it comes to the Aggies playing for a national championship, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was like watching it and thinking to myself, A&M's an absolute. The game, first of all, reminded me a lot of the very first SEC game up until a point, let me say. Mm-hmm. The very first SEC game between A&M and LSU. It was here.
Yeah.
And A&M just comes out and scores, and they're having no trouble. They're dominating the game. They're controlling the first half. And then through a series of mistakes, there was an interception, a late interception, there was a fumble, and somehow LSU goes into the halftime with a lead. Like, how did that happen? And that's kind of like that. And then, like in that game, and here's the difference. In that game, in 2012, Trey Williams, I think his name is, returns a kickoff like all the way to the 15, but they miss a field goal. Mm. And this time, you get a big-time kickoff return from Terry Bussey, but they go down and score, and then everything changes. So I was spending a lot of time in that game thinking A&M's just going to blow them out. And then I was thinking, what is it about A&M? I complain about this a lot. What is it about A&M, no matter what the circumstances, not finishing a half, the first half well, for the second game in a row, right? And I'm sitting there the whole time thinking, this isn't a game if A&M doesn't, pee on their own shoes.
Right.
I mean, they're not. LSU could not stop A&M. A&M could stop A&M with a premature snap, and then an interception in the end zone where I thought they would just run it 4 times and score. And quite frankly, this game should have been probably 28-7 at the half.
I agree. All right, let's close out the show with Ella Ryan. Tell the people what to do, and somehow you need to incorporate by Kelly. By Brian Kelly.
Okay. I'll try my best. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to TexAgs Live. And if you want to join the conversation, you should text, comment, and call. Dang, I don't know. Bye, Kelly. Bye, A&M. I don't know.
You can call in to wish
You can call
Brian
in to
Kelly
wish
goodbye
Brian
or
Kelly
tell him
goodbye.
bye.
Bye. I don't know. I got nothing else witty
I'm
to
not
say.
squiddy in the moments.
Just goodbye, Brian Kelly. It was his birthday, and he got
It was
fired
his birthday.
a day after his birthday.
That's a really bad birthday.
That sucks. I think, fact check me, Nick. You can tell me later. I think my birthday happened on App State. Think so.
Mine's always around the UT game.
Oh. You mean the TU game?
Oh, yeah, the SIPs
Sorry.
game.
See you next time. It was very long. Outro.